Welcome back to another episode of Picking Up the Pixels RPG Love. I'm your host, Boston, and joining me as always is Musum.
Hello.
And Mina.
Hi.
Let's just dive right into it. Musum, what have you been playing this past month?
I've been kind of gaming nomadically lately, so...
Okay.
I started in with some Persona 5 just because I wanted that nice comfort food. I already had a game going, so I kind of started in the middle of the first boss's castle.
I was going to say Madarame, but it's not.
I should have written down their names, and I didn't.
Katashima? Something like that.
Yeah.
Kamoshida.
Yeah,
that's it.
there we go. Whew.
Kamoshida.
I only played 150 hours of that game. So I can't remember that horribly long first dungeon.
I basically spent just an hour or two finishing up that dungeon and then just kind of cruised around and hung out with some friends, you know?
Yeah.
The game starts out so freaking strong. And,
yeah.
It's so... I know we rag on it a lot, but it's so good in so many ways. And I think the only reason we rag on it is because Persona 3 and 4 set such high bars. But,
yeah.
I still absolutely adore that game and its music and its style. And I think that one's just going to age better with time in a lot of ways. I mean, I think, certain things... I haven't gotten up to Fuji's castle again yet. I'm sure that will always be terrible, but...
Yeah.
Isn't that her name, Fuji? Maybe it's not. The hacker chick.
Futaba.
Yeah. Mount Fuji. I'm just going to name her after a mountain now, guys.
There we go. That's Persona 6.
I always hated the yacht. That dungeon right there.
Yeah.
My least favorite. I love the boss fight, but the dungeon itself...
The music in that dungeon, though, real good.
Real good.
Yeah, the dungeon itself, real bad.
Well, and you could tell, with a lot of the dungeon design that they, when the Wii U hit, they specifically made that, not SMT, the TMS.
Oh,
Tokyo
Sharp
Mirage
FE.
Sessions. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah, they very much geared that so that you're always kind of looking at your map and checking back and forth, and, just... going from one to the other, you can tell a lot of that design carried over from one game to the next. So I think part of what this suffers from is, I think somewhere in their designer things, they were still thinking about that second screen that they didn't have.
Etrian Odyssey designer went a little crazy.
Yeah.
Well, they're just gonna remake the map, right? And it's like, no. That's that other console.
Yeah, no. I hope they don't take as long to make another main entry Persona, but...
Yeah.
So then I picked up Tales of Vesperia and started playing that.
Hey, I did too.
I picked it up
I forgot I played that.
There we go, 3 for 3.
I picked it up on Switch, and that game is beautiful, and I think it's probably a good port. I have not looked at the other two, but I can't imagine it looking any better, so...
I bought it on PS4. It runs flat 60 frames in and out of battle, which is really, really nice. And I don't believe it's 4K, but it looks really, really good.
And I bought it on PC.
There you go.
And it runs really well, too, so unsurprisingly.
Yeah. I think some platforms might run 60 frames in battle and 30 when you're sort of walking around, but I feel like that's such a minor deal that I wouldn't be too upset about that personally.
I never really noticed frame rates unless they just start dropping low.
Right.
So, and
that's the old gamer in us.
Yeah.
We're used to that.
Yeah, I'm used to 15 frames and a little window on my PC.
Well, and this is both of you have played it and beaten it before, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, I got very far in it. I did not actually finish it.
Okay. Yeah, I've
so
finished it.
You don't have to worry, though.
I've finished it a lot of times.
Well, this is my first time playing it, and this is my first Tales game that I've played that has the 3D combat arena.
Okay. Right.
So that's been quite an adjustment for me because the controls are very... I'm trying not to hold it against the game because it is, a decade-old
yeah.
game at this point. But
I would say that this is kind of... It's really hard to say because back when we played this originally, it did not feel... The game did not feel as clunky as it feels right now to me.
Yeah.
Well, and most of the time, I don't know it or notice it. It's just like when I hit that one boss fight, the Gatatusa or whatever it's called.
The wolf boss, yeah.
Evidently, everyone hates and everyone says...
I still think it's the hardest boss fight in the entire game.
Yeah, like I was just trying to read up on how to do that, and they're like, hide on the other side of the plant and shoot it, and like I got to where I could live a little bit longer, but then like every time I hit on the other side of the plant, for some reason it was retargeting the plant, which was frustrating, but then I put it to easy and just cleared it, and then moved it back to normal and started playing.
There you go.
That's my... I think that's what I had said also on Twitter, where it's like, just put it on easy, get through this fight, and the rest of it is easy.
I think the hardest part for me in the combat is switching to like the free roam mode that you kind of have to in a lot of the fights. I've noticed, like between that and some enemies having attacks that you need to jump over. And that, and like guard, I hardly ever use just because it feels so non-responsive. But for the most part, I don't feel like the game requires me to be really good at that system.
Yeah, the weird thing about Vesperia is it's really this bridge game between the old 2D only style, where like you're talking about attacks you have to jump over. Like that was very popular in the 2D side-scrolling original ones. And then you have this sort of quasi free roam that you have to like hold down a button to then be able to move around in 3D. Whereas the new ones, you just walk around in 3D and you just use the analog stick and it moves your character. And Vesperia is really weird because it's trying to do both at the same time, but like JRPGs hadn't gotten to the point yet where it's like you can just walk around. Like that's an okay thing to have happen.
Symphonia works the same way as Vesperia as well. Both of them were the first 3D of the Tales of games, so they share a lot of that age that I'm talking about. That once you go to the one after this, I believe it's Grace's. Once you move there, that's when you notice that sort of the clunkiness of combat, where it's like trying to be two games. It's not like it's trying to get there, and maybe the team just didn't quite make it all the way, but it gets that's resolved in like Graces and Beyond. Like it's way better. So
right.
Gotcha. Yeah, well, so far I'm enjoying it. It doesn't I'm not sure where the story's going. Like I feel like I'm about 15 hours in. I've lost some playtime due to them not adding in any checkpoints or anything like that.
Yeah.
Which honestly kind of led me to taking a break from the game. Like I lost like something like an hour and a half of playtime just because I wasn't thinking.
Yeah.
And I wandered around in this forest outside of that guild town, and I had just been fighting enemies, and then there's this large enemy. I just thought, oh, this is just another enemy I haven't hit. And then I start the battle, and it says, you're allowed to run away from it. I'm like, that's an odd thing to say. And I had never run away from a fight until then, or tried to until then. And after all my team except for Yuri had been wiped, I'm like, oh crap, how do I run away? Do I just run towards the edge?
Right.
Oh no, that doesn't do it. Oh right, there's a menu I can bring up.
Right. Oh right.
Oh.
And I died. And then
man.
Like, it just, it's nice you can skip through the cutscenes, but there have been a few times where I'm just like, couldn't you guys have just gone in and add some points? Like there was a battle in the, what town is that? I don't remember what the town is called, but it's one of the training battles that you get to like 5 to 10 hours into the game. Mm-hmm. And they're teaching you how to do your, like you already have your magic or whatever attack, and then you hold that button down, and then they'll do a chain attack afterwards.
Is that a mystic art? Is that what they call it? Something
Maybe.
like that?
It's something, or burst art or something.
Yeah.
But I could not get it to do it, and I kept dying against those two stupid guards. And
Insult to injury.
Oh, jeez.
And, like, the last save point you have is behind, like, 3 cinematics in that fight.
Oh, yeah.
And I literally had to redo that fight, I think, like, 5 times until I got it. I got better at the combat system then, but it's a little bit of tug and pull. Like, I think Yuri's a really entertaining protagonist, which is a lot of what's carrying me through. I think his, like, Yuri's complete, like, disregard for all the rules combined with Estelle's no, we shouldn't break into this house. I'm going to wait out here if you're really going to do that.
Right.
I think is really entertaining. I thought Carol would be really annoying, and I feel like I was kind of wrong. Like, he's kind of entertaining. He's a good heel.
Yeah, I like him. I like his innocence compared to Yuri, where it's sort of like, we're going to do the right thing. And Yuri's like, maybe not.
And I love, like, the little... I'm sure all the other Tales games do this, too, now. Like, they do all the little squares for the side conversations.
Oh, for all the skits, yeah.
I love it when Repeat, the dog, like someone or dislike someone. You just see a square, like, follow someone or run away from someone.
I think Vesperia's skits are some of my favorite because of Repeat sort of moving around the screen and kind of following the action as it goes on.
Yeah. Of course I love Repeat. He's great.
Yeah.
But I don't... It's, I do find myself occasionally questioning, like, okay, I get why Estelle's here mostly, but, like, and I guess I kind of get why Carol's here, because he doesn't really have anywhere else to go. But, like, why does anyone else care to hang around?
Right.
And I'm sure that'll come in, too. Like, Rita's an entertaining...
Oh, okay. I was about to ask, like, which town you were in to try and figure out what characters.
Yeah.
I'm in the guild town, whatever that is. So I just got the guy that I was locked up with at the start. I forgot his name.
Spike Spiegel.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
He is that the same voice actor too?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. I forgot that guy's name too. I forgot all the names.
I think that's Steve Bloom.
Yeah, that's Spike.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm mostly enjoying it, but as I said, I'm on a little bit of a break. Did you guys have anything else you wanted to talk about on it, or?
I played about an hour.
I made it to the port city where you first run into Flynn for the first time, like face to face. So that's about.
Go on.
No, that's about where I stopped.
Oh, gotcha. I keep expecting Flynn to join up. Like, I've seen him a few times now, and he keeps running off in the opposite direction or whatnot. But
I think he does in this version.
So, yeah, the big selling point for this version and why a lot of Tales of fans have been begging and begging and begging for this game to come out is that they actually add Flynn as a permanent party member, and there's another party member that you get that wasn't available, or her whole plot line did not exist in the original.
Yeah, and that's Patty, right?
Yeah, and the frustrating part about this, just so that way, like, people understand why the Tales of community was so upset about this. Number one, the voice lines for all of this was done. Like, the entire, like the voice acting was done on the English side, the localization was done. They just literally needed to put this all on a disc and ship it out and give it to people, and that was the step that never made it. Why, we don't know.
Yeah.
Man. I forgot I was going to do a pun for my intro to this game. I was going to say, I've been having a blastia playing this game.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
So for the audience, the blastia is where they get the powers from.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's more to it, but I don't know it yet.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. I did download those free DLC packs. I have not used most of what's in it. I kind of just, as I get a character, I'll go ahead and add their titles and outfits. Mm-hmm. And I redeemed one of the gold 300,000 packages just so I wouldn't have to grind for gold.
Yeah, I wish I would have known that, because I would have recommended for that wolf fight. It's like, just toss one of those plus 10 level up things on your party and kind of mow right through it. Because if you get those when you start the game, you can hit level 40 right away on everyone, which is absolutely crazy.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, I popped to the level 10 one just to see what it was. It's like, all right, I'll just kind of see how this works really early on. And it's like, oh, wow, this makes the game considerably easier, which I think is fun for maybe someone that doesn't want to slog through it and grind. Though you don't usually need to grind.
So I did an experiment with that, too. I had one save game where I used it, and then I went back to another save game, and all that stuff was still there.
Oh, cool.
So I suspect this just may be available in general, like once you get it.
That would be really nice.
It took forever for me to freaking find out where it was in my inventory.
Yes,
Yeah.
That's always been a problem.
Okay. Yeah, those inventory screens not so great, but
No.
did the titles do? I mean, obviously you have the titles that give you a different outfit from the DLC, but the other titles, do they actually do anything for you?
I don't think any of the ones in the free pack do. There are some you can gain through stuff you do in the game, like side quests and crafting X number of cooking recipes and stuff like that. But I think those can, but I don't think the free ones do. That's mostly like, you can dress up like this guy from Tales of the Abyss. It's like, oh, okay, cool.
Right.
That's really it.
Well, and I'd unlocked a couple of them from the regular game, but they didn't appear to give me any extra abilities or stats or anything. Kind of just be a title. So
There is a Tales of game that titles do actually change your stats and stuff. I don't remember which one. Like, see, the thing is like I get them all mixed up in my head, but I don't think Vesperia is one of them. So.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I can't remember.
Okay, so moving on. I bought Metal Max Xeno when it came out months ago, and it got such bad reviews, and I realized kind of after it showed up that it wasn't going to be the game I wanted it to be, which was I wanted another Metal Saga game.
Right.
Because the original Metal Saga is this great comedy, like, post-apocalyptic, ridiculous game. And this is not. And, like, reading into it, I guess Metal Saga is just, like, a weird tertiary thing that has nothing to do with the main Metal Max series.
Oh, okay.
So this is a completely serious game. But I finally popped in and played it for about an hour. And I don't know that I'm going to be playing anymore. But
Oh, no.
The game feels like the team made a game and made a world and said, okay, we got everything working. Now let's fill out the content. And then someone said, oh, no, we're out of money. We just have to publish this. Like, it feels completely... I have not played a game in a long time that feels like a straight-up, like, B or C tier game. Like,
Yeah.
It's I don't know. The main character, like, they have this one, like, still of him just, like, screaming, like, staring up, like Dragon Ball Z style or something. And he just, like, they've used it, like, 3 or 4 times. I've only played, like, an hour.
Oh, man.
So, the premise for the game is basically all of humanity has been wiped out. I think they start the game telling you, like, 95% has been wiped out. And you're just some dude with a robot arm who finds a tank, and then you find like 4 other survivors, and they're like, okay, we want you to go to these other settlements and see if the machines have wiped everyone out there or not. And so I assume you will eventually find other people, but I know this from some of the reviews where this winds up, but I know one of the plot lines is there are no females in the main camp, so they can't start humanity again. So I know part of the plot line is going to be finding a female to start humanity again. And from reading some of the reviews, it sounds like you get to select the person to, I guess, be the breeding catalyst for humanity, which is...
Yikes.
Yikes. Yeah. That is a yikes.
That's
Jinx on a
pretty
yikes.
messed up.
I think I think both Mina and I had played that It came out on PSP or Vita, the Conception 2
Oh my
game.
god. Do you realize I was just looking at my Steam list right now and staring at Conception 2 Children of the Seven Stars right there.
Also thinking, yikes.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah.
I feel like Conception. I don't know. We'll see where we go. I haven't found a female in it yet. I don't know how poorly they're going to handle this poorly thought out
Right.
concept. But
Children and men, it ain't.
yeah, I don't know that I'm going to spend any more time with. Like, I might give it one more session, but like even Susie was sitting there making fun of me for like even giving it the time I did. Like,
Right.
So janky and bad, and like all the cutscenes were pretty corny, and the music was not great, and
It's like the bad type of B game.
yeah, it's,
Yeah.
you know, like maybe if they had spent another year with it and rethought out kind of the story, like there might be something here, because like an open world turn-based RPG in a post-apoc world where you drive around a tank, like I mean that probably has some potential to it, you know, but
Yeah.
they didn't do that, and they should have just made a sequel to Metal Saga, because that game was awesome.
Yeah.
It was too grindy. It was way too grindy. Too many random encounters, but it was still awesome. I don't know if it's an RPG or not, but I'm going to talk about it. Or at least I think I'm allowed to talk about it. We're allowed to talk about the Anthem.
Yeah, I think that's an
public
RPG.
thing. Okay. Like, I assume it's going to be because it's BioWare, but I
It has
literally played...
leveling up, and it's as much of an RPG, I think, as Destiny is.
Okay. Well, and that's what I was thinking originally, but I still, like, I finally played my first match on it today. I was in the VIP demo, but I could only get into the main city. I couldn't actually get a session going. So the public thing, like, it just immediately worked perfectly. Like,
Yeah, it's nice to see. They must have worked really hard this past week to get all this stuff as smooth as it is.
I mean, either that or they just threw money at servers.
Well, it's interesting because they came out and said, like, it's not a server capacity issue. It was a lot of their back end. They said they did pretty considerable stress testing. I was looking into this because I haven't looked into much on Anthem, but I was curious about, were they going to say, like, we didn't have enough servers, or was it something else? And they said there was... it was nice to see them be honest about the issues, and they also said, like, we did a ton of stress testing, and it didn't stress one of these back-end systems as much as you guys did. So we're going to beef that up and try again. And so far it seems like it's largely has resolved the issues.
Get on them for making a proper beta then.
Yeah. Yeah.
But from the one match I played, I really, really, really liked the movement a lot. I know that's the thing to say, but like they really nailed those, like transitioning to flight and staying in flight controls, I think, really well.
Jumping up and boosting off in a flight every time feels really cool.
And it's not like most of the time when you're flying in a game and you press up on the joystick, like the camera moves up. In this one, it just boosts you forward.
Yep.
Which I thought was really good. I'm actually, come to think of it, I'm not actually sure. Oh, that's right. I used the other joystick to move up. So
yeah, it's one of those ones where I know it's a lot different on PC, but on console, it just, you jump up and I think you hit like R3 or something, and as soon as you hit the air, you know what to do. Like it just feels really natural.
Yeah. Combat-wise, I'm still I'm not sure yet. We'll see how it goes. Like, I don't hate it or anything like that. And I think I'm going to, like, after your guys' I mentioned it on Twitter, but after your guys' last TVGP episode, I thought, I really just need to approach this as a single-player game with a single-player campaign that I will play with, probably Boston, probably you.
Yeah, play occasionally with friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just think about it as I'm just going to play it like I've made $60 investments in plenty of other games where I just played through the campaign and then shelved it.
Right.
And, if I wind up being sold on the world and the campaign or the multiplayer content to keep going with it, then I will. But I I don't know. We'll see. But
yeah, it feels good. I think. I think one of the hard things about a demo like that is, unless you start at the beginning of the game and it ramps up a lot of gear really quickly, it's sort of hard to tell. Like, all right, cool, I picked up another gun, but it feels largely like my other gun, so I sort of don't. But if you start from level 1 and you just have something that, fires ping pong balls, and the next gun you get is going to be way better, and so on and so forth. So it's hard to capture that in a demo, I think.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And I don't, part of what I'm hoping for, too, is that they make the, one of the things I'm not super, Destiny is a beautiful game and has really cool environments, but I don't, for me, the Skyrim over Legend of Zelda type person, where I want to go somewhere and then find another, story that interacts with me. I don't want a journal. I don't want, or if I find a journal, I want it to be a Daedric journal that suddenly possesses me, and then I have to go to X, Y, and B to, experience more story. That's what I really want out of a game, and I'm hoping BioWare's open areas for this have a little bit of that. I know it's not going to be like Skyrim. I don't have that level of expectation of it. I just hope there's more than Destiny has for it.
Yeah, because I think Anthem seems really promising because the open world you can explore, at least in the demo, I don't know how big the final game is. It's really big. And of course you can fly, so you can find all this stuff. It's a much more vertical game than really anything else.
I'm pretty excited for that part too.
Yeah, and I'm excited for that, but I'm also I'm hopeful that they have packed the environment with enough interesting stuff to make that exploration important, other than, you can fly around and, the only reason to do that is to shoot enemies from the air because they can't fly. Thing is, I'm trying not to get on the hype train for Anthem, so I haven't been watching a lot of stuff. So there might be a video out there where oh yeah, well here's exploration, and they show some stuff, but I don't. Go on.
I was just saying, I think I've become a real big curmudgeon on video games, so I don't know that outside of a Shin Megami Tensei game, I'm gonna really get on hype trains.
It's safer that way.
Most part, yeah. But I think I am gonna stick in. And plus, looking over my schedule of things I want to buy for the year, I realized, I totally have time to play this. There's no reason I couldn't pick this up mid-February and start playing it off and on for a month or something. But
that's true, yeah.
And then lastly, I just wanted to briefly talk about Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. They added some comfort features to the game I'm pretty excited about.
Yeah.
With the, hey, now you can trade in your characters who have gotten 100% TMR, which I guess no one who hasn't played that game knows what it means. But, you wind up stacking, a bunch of, I had 3 or 4 of, one character that just kept reaching their 100%, it gives you that extra item. And just leaving in my inventory because I'm I don't know what to do with this. And now I can get coins and then eventually get, tickets or something to summon.
Yeah, get bonuses for just doing long-term stuff. Yeah.
But that game continues to be really good, and I like it. So, but that's all I got.
All right, Mina, what about you?
All right, so I'll quickly just say that I finished Dragon Quest XI. What a good game! What a great game, actually.
Yeah.
If I were to make 2 complaints about the game and realize that these 2 complaints are on the back of all of my compliments, and just I would say 100% people should buy this game if they really want to give a Dragon Quest game a fair shake. This is go and buy this one. My 2 complaints are, 1, the music.
Yeah.
That is something that really gets on you the longer and longer you play. And 2, I like silent protagonists in games. It's not something that I'm oh no, it has a silent protagonist. It's awful.
Pre-order canceled.
Right? I'm totally down for a silent protagonist. But when you have really emotional and deep plots, and it's really centralized around your protagonist, and your protagonist is like, basically just a zombie of a man, like not reacting to anything, but there's huge emotional things happening, and he's not talking, he's not reacting,
just has that blank stare.
It's this kind of comedic sort of jokey with the protagonist not talking worked in a lot of the older Dragon Quest games, but when we've reached the point now where he really needs to have a voice if you're going to go for like this sort of a plot.
Right.
This plot in particular, it's very protagonist centric, and he's not reacting.
Right.
So, I mean, that's those are my biggest complaints. And honestly, had the music been better, which it can be, because it's already out there, but let's just get a new composer altogether, please.
Yes.
And had the protagonist been voiced and had reactions, like, this would be one of the most solid games I'd ever played.
Yep.
It's those things, those demerits against it that keeps it from being like the most perfect thing I played last year. So yeah, that's Dragon Quest XI, and I have other opinions, but yeah, go play it.
Yeah.
So the other thing that I played a little bit of, another Square title, is Kingdom Hearts, and I finally got past the boss that I was stuck at.
Nice. Which boss was it? I don't remember.
It's the Ansem Riku fight,
Gotcha.
I believe.
Okay.
And on Proud Mode, okay, so like, I would say Ansem Riku has 3 distinct phases.
Mm-hmm.
There's phase 1, which he's nothing. He's nothing. This is a walk in the park. By the way, this particular fight, you don't have Donald and Goofy with you. You have to fight this one-on-one. So there's no distractions. So you have to fight him alone. So it's like, the 1v1 at the first phase is fine. You hit the second phase, and he starts doing this the slashy attack that then it sprints across the screen and hits you, so you have to constantly be moving now. And a couple of his attacks now have different sort of hit boxes that can hit you, and it's all trying to catch you, and he's just wombo comboing you. And I mean, okay, so and really this is a battle of 1, not getting hit, 2, conserving your MP, and just 3, doing a lot of damage to get through this phase, and just, you can't be just passive the entire time. You really have to go to town on him.
Right.
Then you hit the most annoying phase I have ever endured. The worst. So then he goes into this phase where he will I don't know, be filled with darkness or something, I don't know, consume darkness, something, something very
normal Kingdom Hearts thing, something about light or hearts or darkness or nobodies, who knows?
I don't know. He's just absorbing darkness, and then he does this attack that basically hits across the screen in this zoom, 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 and kind of spirals around the screen in a clock sort of attack. And then he does this, he goes to the center and he does this, oh, I just now know what fight it reminded me of. The Ursula, everywhere, there's light beams attacking everywhere, or dark beams, or whatever it was. I don't know. It's just, all over the map, and I'm just basically hugging the wall and praying. So he does that, right? So the thing is after he gets out of that attack, because this is phase 3, after he gets out of that attack, he immediately goes to phase 2, where he shoots that attack that just sprints across the screen and will hit you, and then he follows up with a wombo combo. So So you're trying to hug the edge to not be hit by his crazy nonsense, and then he immediately goes into that dive attack that's going to hit you up against the wall, and now he's going to wombo you. So,
right.
Oh my god, I fought and fought and fought, and the problem is that he can basically two-shot Sora, two-shot. So. And oh my gosh, if I'm not topped off, and he gets to do that center attack where he does the Ursula everywhere AOE nonsense, that I'm dead if I'm not topped off. So,
yeah.
What a fight! My hands were hurting so badly. I finished it, and I was like, that, like, have I beat the game? Is this it? Am I done? Or is there going to be, like, another boss? Like, what's going to happen? And then, like, the game, like, kind of kicks you out of the place, and you do a bunch of wandering around doing some other stuff. I don't know, nonsense. So then you go into, what was it? The end of the world, or the end of the universe, or the end of whatever. The end. You go to the end, which is a place. And I get into my first battle, and I don't know what this is like on normal modes. I don't know. But on proud mode, there's like 5 enemies on my screen, and each one of them can do this casting thing that creates like a darkness bubble attack on me that I guess I can roll dodge out of, but when you've got 5 of them taking their turns to cast this on you, you have to roll dodge 5 of these, and they're all insta one-shots. And these enemies are also chasing you and hitting you. I basically couldn't even down one of those enemies. I just kept dying. I think I died like 4 or 5 times on the first trash. Right. This isn't a boss. This is like just a fight I'm going to have to do multiple times to get to the end of the game.
Yeah. Proud mode.
And in the moment of all my anger and stress of all of this, right? I'm so stressed out. Like someone messages me, and they're like, "You realize that there's a category for speedrunners that do no XP mode, proud mode,
right.
Kingdom Hearts." And I was just like, please don't talk to me right now. Please don't talk to me, okay? I don't care. I'm going to grind. I'm about to grind Sora all the way to level 99 so I can beat this. I don't care. Like Kingdom Hearts is on pause until I do that, because holy smokes, I do not know how to do that. And people are like, well, maybe just watch some videos and learn. And I'm like,
That's not this. I think grinding is probably your best solution at the moment.
Yeah, so that's where I am with Kingdom Hearts. In case anybody's wondering, like, where's the next Kingdom Hearts episode? It's not coming until I can kill those guys. And right. I will check off stream before I start and then just record. Whatever. So, those were the games I played the least of. The game that I played a ton of, and side note, if you like comedy, buy this game, and because I'm not going to spoil anything really about it. West of Loathing.
Oh, I love West of Loathing.
Wonderful game.
If you want to have a good time, if you want to smile, just buy West of Loathing. Don't get any information from anybody else. You're just here to have a good time.
Yep.
And play West of Loathing. Like I'm because the thing is I could try and explain some of this stuff, but it's not going to be funny coming from me. And it's just going to ruin the experience.
We did a Game Club episode on TVGP about it, and I think explaining it's like a stick figure RPG Western game, but
but
being
that's
able
not
to
doing it justice.
Yeah, like doing it justice and trying to explain some of the jokes is so hard. It's just one of those games where it's so cheap and it's so good, and any computer can run it, and it's out on Switch now as well. Just go play it. It's going to be like $5 or $7, and it's more than worth it that much.
And can I just say the music?
Yes.
I was having a ball with that soundtrack from minute one. Wow, what a good game.
Yeah, that game is so good.
Well, and the guy who did the soundtrack for that too, like, he's a super nice guy. Like on Twitter, he's always offering to help people aspiring to get into game audio. Just to message him in his DMs, and I've passed some DMs back and forth between them before. Like,
that's cool.
Super
that's
nice
awesome.
and friendly guy. Ryan Ike, that's his name.
So yeah, buy this game because you're supporting good people, and the game is fun. It is really, really fun. This means nothing. This is like the first, 10 seconds of gameplay. I picked the Bean Slinger.
Yep. Yep.
Because that's my typical go-to class, if at possible. If I can't be a pet class, I'm gonna be a magic class. If I can't be a magic class, I'm going rogue. Like that.
Right.
And if none of those are the options, then I don't know what sort of class selection sort of game we're playing here, because we just hit all the ones that matter.
Yeah.
But I could see myself playing this multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
I did start a file where I got the hard hat.
Okay.
And wow, that's gonna be a playthrough to go through. I will have so much. Like, I really don't want to spoil it. It's really good.
Yeah, it's one of those. You sort of don't want to spoil comedy games like this. It is a good game that is funny, so it's not just about the jokes, but. Man, that game is really something else.
You're making me want to go. Like, they have it for Switch, and I don't own it for Switch yet.
Yeah.
It's only like $11, and I feel like it was on sale recently. But
yeah.
It was on sale. That's actually why I bought it. I bought mine for like $5 or $6. I don't know.
Nice.
Well, and I was like,
I've gotten the hard hat. I've never like put it on. So
yeah.
Or no, maybe it's. I don't remember how that works. Is it? I just remember you get to that part in the game where it basically says, "Hey, if you do this, it's going to be really hard." And I just was like,
right.
That's some other time.
Yeah, I didn't. I think it automatically. It's like if you pick it up and you say like, "Oh yeah, I want to pick it up," and it's like, "Are you sure you really want to pick it up?" And it's like, "Yeah, I want to pick it up. Let me put it on." And then you're like, "Yeah."
Yeah,
So
that
that's
game is
how
good.
that works. So. Yeah, I played through some West of Loathing, and then the last game that I played that I really want to talk about is Radiant Historia Perfect Chronology.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
Historia.
This game, so first of all, Radiant Historia was the DS version of the game. The Perfect Chronology is the 3DS version that has added voice acting, a new character, some more content, different sprites, and etc.
There's a whole ton of stuff.
Yeah, like it's and I don't mean like it's just voice acted Ni no Kuni style, okay?
Right.
We're talking lots of voice acting.
Full thing.
Yeah. This is important. So I guess something that like I was told when people were watching my Let's Play of like Danganronpa and some other things, like the Zero Time Dilemma game, was that I have a really uncanny ability of like figuring out what's going on in something long before the game tells you, because I can follow logical lines, and I guess I'm genre savvy, and I love mystery novels. I have. Like, this is almost borderline Steins Gate. I have no idea what's going on in Radiant Historia.
Yeah.
Chronology. It is really hard for me to follow. And I don't know... Like, I could theorize something about certain characters, but then, like, I feel large gaps of information is gone. I've made it to the part of the game where... How do I describe it? So right off the bat, this, like, it's very obviously going to have time travel-y sort of stuff in it. You'll realize that very quickly on. There's like, this is not a hidden fact to you.
Right.
So you go down the branches, and something that was really hard for me to really grasp and understand, like I'm still having problems like processing it, is like I do some things in one timeline, and then for some reason that action in that timeline affects the other timeline,
Yes.
And that's really hard for me to understand because, it's basically saying that somehow there was somebody, which would have had to have been me, do that action in this timeline, even though I never did it in this timeline.
Yeah, it's like, for anyone listening that hasn't played it, it's basically like, in timeline A, you go into this building and you push a box across the floor, and in timeline B, the box has been pushed across the floor so you can get a chest that only exists in timeline B. And it's like...
Right.
I sort of understand it, but I sort of maybe don't.
Because if that's the case, then who pushed the box in timeline B? Because it wasn't you.
Right. That's a big reason why I stopped playing it, is because I felt like there was like one tiny trigger in each timeline to affect the other timeline to get the story moving forward, and there were a bunch of times where I had to go look up a FAQ to go find that trigger, and I never would have figured it out otherwise.
Oh my gosh, I have not had that happen to me yet, but I could see that happening very easily. Part of the reason why I'm like, I need to stream this game and play it consistently to keep track of stuff, because there are little details that they just sprinkle little tiny details, and I'm having to remember little details of the other timeline that I can feel slipping away from my brain right now as we speak. So, the game is pretty interesting. Like I said, I'm still trying to reconcile that sort of like that thought of somehow things are moving in a different timeline that I didn't have anything to do with. That's kind of like a weird thing to reconcile with, but it's kind of like it bugs me. I want an answer to that, and I'm kind of hoping
it's weird. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just kind of hoping that when I get to a certain part of the game, maybe that stuff will be explained away better, or maybe it's just a fact of the game I'm just going to have to somehow accept.
Right.
which is far more likely. Other than that, I did not play any other RPGs. How about you, Boston?
The only RPG I played this month is Kingdom Hearts 3. It is finally out. It is real. It is a video game that is in my PS4. It exists. Starting off, I watched a video. I should have brought up the YouTube channel's name. I watched a 35-minute recap video that a YouTube channel put out that I really, really liked. That sort of in chronological order, talked about everything that happened. Because I've played all the games, but I haven't. It's been a really long time, and there were 12 of them before Kingdom Hearts 3.
Holy smokes!
Yeah, so it's a little bit of a storyline. 'Cause all of them matter in the storyline. So I thought, well, I'll watch a video, and that was pretty good. Did not realize that Kingdom Hearts 3 has a 6-part recap video in it that takes about 20 minutes. It's okay, I would say. I think if you haven't played any of the Kingdom Hearts games since 2, it is probably a good video. If you haven't played any of them, Kingdom Hearts 3 is not the game to start with. Just flat out. At a minimum, you need to play 1 and 2. Because they, once that recap video is over, they start right in the game, and it picks up from the end of Dream Drop Distance, the DS game, 3DS game. I don't remember, but that's in the storyline. That's the most recent one, and they recap some stuff as they go, but it sort of takes right off, which is kind of refreshing. Number one, game looks so good. 4K, 60 frames per second. It looks crazy good. Really great lighting, really great texture work. They're using Unreal Engine 4, which is put to really great use here. It's one of those things where a Square Enix game is going to look good. Dragon Quest XI looked really good. Final Fantasy 15 looked really good. But man, this is something else. I definitely don't want to spoil anything, mostly because I don't know what's going on, really. As of this morning, I'm about 8 hours in. So far, it's a standard Kingdom Hearts game. You're moving from world to world. You are, slashing at Heartless with a giant Keyblade. You have the Gummy Ship, which now is a more open world thing, which is kind of interesting.
Whoa.
My biggest complaint about Kingdom Hearts 3 so far is that the battle system is really crazy. So, Kingdom Hearts 1, the battle system was fine. Kingdom Hearts 2, they started adding some of those, it's like reaction things where you hit triangle and you can, like, swing around a pole and hit an enemy. That stuff was fine.
What?
Yeah, you'll get into it when you run into Kingdom Hearts 2. It sounds crazier, but it'd be like, an enemy is going to do something, and you can kind of like counterattack with a real quick attack when the triangle shows up on screen, just while you're fighting a normal fight. I thought that stuff worked really well. This one, I think they went too far. Like, one of the first things they do is you go through the tutorial. So, game starts off with, Sora falls onto a stained glass picture of himself, and you pick, do you want magic? Do you want balance? Do you want attack? It's your standard Kingdom Hearts intro.
That happens in all of them, not just the first.
Yeah, that happens in all of them. This one's a little bit different because it basically asks, like, oh boy, do you want to be dependable, balanced, or something else? And then there's another set of decisions that don't really... Kingdom Hearts 1 was great because it's like, do you want the sword, the shield, or the staff? Like, very clearly, which one do you want to pick? This one is a little bit less obvious about it, but I think it makes sense when you look at the pictures they show you. But really quickly, you get into the first world, and it introduces you... like Kingdom Hearts 2, you have your second form, where you get all crazy and do super crazy attacks. But then they have other triangle stuff you can do, and the very first one they had you do was it was just labeled pirate ship. So I hit the triangle,
What?
and a giant light bright pirate ship comes out of the ground, and I am playing a rhythm game to hit X when it swings to one way or another, and when I hit X, it does a giant attack to all the enemies in the arena, and then when that's done, I hit triangle, and you fire the cannons, and the giant light bright pirate ship goes away. It's a lot. There's like 3 or 4 other ones of those I've run into, like the teacups from Disney World, and this like first person shooting thing where you're juggling enemies, and it's just there's a lot going on, and it's to the point where I'm on the third world, and I've stopped using them. Just because it's so much stuff that's going on screen that just fighting the Heartless, and the Nobodies are back from Kingdom Hearts 2 as well. Fighting
The Nobodies. I like it.
Yeah, just wait until you're running Kingdom Hearts 2. Fighting just the Heartless and the Nobodies by themselves is enough. Where you're like flying in air, you get the air recovery pretty quickly. You start with the air dash, so you start with a pretty considerable amount of moves. But adding that extra layer of stuff on top is just, for me, it's a little bit too much. I didn't like the first world. It was Hercules. Mostly because I don't really like that movie. They did a really good job of not retelling the movie in the game, which has been a problem with Kingdom Hearts in the past, where it's like, oh, here's just this world, and you're gonna play alongside the movie in this game. Enjoy. It's nice to see them do something different. The second world was Toy Story World, which was very similar, but the intro... I don't really want to spoil the intro to that world. but they make fun of Final Fantasy 15 in a very direct way, which is really, really good. It's really nice to see Square sort of have a little bit of fun with themselves. But I so far I like Kingdom Hearts 3. It is broken and weird and incomprehensible in the way that all Kingdom Hearts games are, and in the way that I love. That it's one of those games where people can get into it for an hour and say, like, I don't understand anything that's happening. All we're doing is talking about Heartless and darkness and hearts and data and, shadow worlds, that happen in a Kingdom Hearts game. By the time they start talking about, like, Data Sora, that's where I start glossing over a little bit. But I like how stupid Kingdom Hearts is. It's this really earnest, fun, usually fairly lighthearted thing featuring Donald, Goofy, and their idiot son Sora. Like, it's just there's something about Kingdom Hearts I have always really liked and I've always really clicked with. Maybe because I can enjoy the game and realize that it's a little bit dumb. Maybe that's the secret. But so far so good. I'm really trying to... Honestly, I'm really trying to blow through it pretty quickly so I don't get it spoiled, because this is allegedly the end of the Sora story arc, so I don't really want anything spoiled. But so far, 2 thumbs up, but I guess that's not too surprising coming from me, because I love Kingdom Hearts in a way that I won't apologize for.
I have a very important question.
Yes.
Is there, like, a proud mode in this game?
Of course. There are 3 difficulties. Easy mode, which is like, just hit X and everything will die. I'm playing on normal mode, which is stupid easy. And then there's proud mode, which I'm assuming there's a trophy for, so I will probably play through that at some point. But I'm not looking forward to it, because I don't enjoy proud mode very much. But they do start you with, thankfully enough, they figured it out this time. They do start you with the 0 experience skill by default in this game, and it is off. And they very clearly say, you don't want to turn this on. You can, but you should really think about it. So it's nice to see them include that from the get-go, unlike a lot of the other games. But yeah, Proud Mode's still here. They just patched in this secret ending movie, but I don't know what the requirements are for that. But I guess I will see. But yes, Proud Mode still in here. Still probably a jerk. But let's move on to RPG releases for February real quick before we go. Wargroove came out for PC, Switch, and Xbox One. That's out now. That is a spiritual successor to basically Advance Wars. But you can also play as a dog general, which is pretty great. That game looks really cool. I'd say if anyone hasn't seen it yet, I would really recommend checking that out. I'd probably pick that up on Switch at some point. Next up, Etrian Odyssey Nexus comes out on 3DS on the 5th. This is, as Atlas says, the final Etrian Odyssey game. I'm sure that sort of is followed by a wink until we figure out how to change this onto other platforms. But this, and then, of course, Persona Q2 is coming out in April, so I guess that's not really the final one. But this one seems pretty good. So, but I'll wait until Persona Q2 to dig out my 3DS, which it's back there. So, yeah. Persona Q2 looks really good. Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy comes out on the Switch, PS4, and Xbox One on the 21st. If you haven't played the Phoenix Wright games, please pick this up and play them. They're really good. Have you both of you guys played all 3 of the first ones?
Yeah, the only one that I haven't played is the very last one, I assume.
Apollo Justice?
No, I played Apollo Justice. I mean the last one on the 3DS, which was like Oh, no, it's not Dual Destinies. It's the one after that. Whatever that one is.
Yeah, I don't remember what the most recent one is, yeah.
Yeah.
I've only beaten the first one, but I own like 4 or 5 of them, and my wife Susie has played through them all.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping this translates well to the Switch, because I feel like that's the perfect place to play it. A lot like the DS was to play these, so fingers crossed. And last but not least, like Musa and I were talking about, Anthem comes out PC, PS4, and Xbox One on the 22nd. For any listeners, I know Musa and I are getting it on PS4. I already have it pre-ordered. I know a lot of people from the TVGP community are getting it on Xbox One. So if you want to play with us, there's plenty of people on both. I don't know if there's really a clan system or not. I haven't really seen anything like that, but I'll have to create one soon, hopefully. Fingers crossed. But that comes out on the 22nd, and that's our episode for this month. Thank you so much to everyone for listening. PickingUpThePixels.com is where you can find us. Everywhere to find and follow us is on the right-hand side of the page. Patreon. Patreon.com/E1M1. Get all sorts of cool behind-the-scenes stuff early. The $5 tier is the recommended one. I think that's it. Musim, where can we find you?
You can find all my music projects at jbaudio.net, and also purchase my music on Bandcamp and iTunes under my alias Musim.
And Mina, how about you?
You can find me on YouTube or Twitch under Mina KO Rocket. And you can also find some of my mobile game stuff on Mobile Mina on YouTube.
And you can find all my shows on e1m1.com. Thank you so much for listening. Our adventures continue next month.
Bye.
Bye-bye.